Retro Rob 64.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Retro Rob 64 here. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit the button down in the corner. It's the little dot that says RR64. It's going to lead you to the subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon so you're notified of every new video. You may be wondering why things look a little bit different today. Well, I'm pleased to announce we have a new collaboration with my buddy Tyler, aka GoalieDude. Say hi, Tyler.
What's going on, Rob? How we doing, man?
Hey, I'm living, man. It's 2020.
Yeah.
We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can, man.
Yeah,
It's good to
exactly.
see you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for
likewise.
coming on here, man.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Of course.
Tyler and I go Tyler and I go back really far. We used to work for the county of Los Angeles together as lifeguards.
Good
Yeah,
times.
so it's a long time ago now. But it's good to see you again, man. What are we doing today, man? Why are you here? What's going on? What are we doing? Tell me, what's going on?
So I kind of figured that we would try something new out today.
Okay.
Kind of with everything that's going on in the world right now, I kind of figured that it would be good for us to go over like games that we've played in the past. And
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
pick like two games that were or that
Two?
we
Okay.
yeah, that we've played in the
Sure.
past,
Sure.
and just kind of go over them, like explain why you've been playing them.
Oh, I love this.
If
Yeah.
there was like a new update or something.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. That's great. That's really good because I've played so many games recently, and some of them are like, "What's this update? Oh my God, it's like 100 GB. Why? Why? What's going on here?" It's not Call of Duty because that
yeah.
every day they fix like one bug, and it's 100 GB.
Oh,
You're
I
just
know.
like, but
Oh yeah.
there's other games that actually have like full on huge patches. So
Oh yeah.
I love this idea. This is great. This is a good way to get that content out there.
Cool.
Do you want
I'll
to start us off,
No, no,
man? You
no.
want me to give us the first
I'll
game?
uh
Or
I'll let you start. I'll let you
okay,
start.
okay.
Just
Huh. I'm trying to think. Well, I'll start with this game. So this game came out quite a while ago now. It was on Steam for a while. It was a big hit on Steam. It was an interesting collaboration of two genres, and the game is Creature in the Well. It was actually released on Steam, and then it was also ported to basically everything else. I don't think it's on mobile phones, but I believe it's on pretty much everything. It's on Xbox One, it's on PS4, it's on Switch, which is where I actually played it. I played on the
oh nice.
Switch.
Okay.
It's just a really cool game. It's actually a Metroidvania, if
Okay.
you're familiar with the term of that, and it's also a pinball type game.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really interesting. The really cool thing about this game is that it's really fluid. Even on the Switch, it still gets you like 60 frames per second, so
Oh
which is
okay.
really crucial for this game because when you first start out, like the gameplay is super, just like here's the mechanics, here's how you hit the ball or like the little orb and stuff,
Mhm.
and you have to actually aim it at specific things, just like you would in pinball.
Mhm.
When you would play like in like an arcade machine, you would play pinball and you had to like aim for like specific things to get a high score. You have to do that in this game, except
Okay.
it's not a high score, it's living. You actually can die a lot in this game. You
Oh wow.
die
Okay.
frequently and often, and usually why. And there's a few frustrating levels, but for the most part, it tests you. Like it really encourages you to try and get better and better. And the really cool thing about it is that the story makes you kind of want to get better too.
Okay.
You have this constant creature that's obviously in the well,
Uh-huh.
and it's very like the dialogue is super, like it's short, it's sweet, but it gets the point home.
Okay.
This creature basically tells you, turn around, you're not going to win, you're never going to make it, give up, stop. I've killed hundreds of your kind before, you'll never make it. And
Okay.
this taunting is like, watch me, watch me
Okay.
do it. And
Okay.
it's kind of cool because it's a game where like if you just feel like everything's been kind of rough and tough, like this year has been,
Right.
I think this is one of those where like I can beat it. I
Okay.
can win. I can do whatever I set my mind to it. Even if I die over and over, and if I try and I fail over and over, I can, because I know the core mechanic, and I know that if I figure out the mechanic of the game, I can win.
Okay.
So super cool game, man. I really check it out. It's always on sale on Steam and all these other places. I think I got it for like $10. It's super cheap, and you
Okay.
can get through it. I think 100% of the game in like I think the recorded hours were like 6 to 8 hours.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
shorter game, but I mean, like you get what you pay for, but
Right.
it's quality. It's
Okay.
really fun. I was blown away. I was like, man, it was funny because it was one of those games where I was like, I'm gonna beat this game. I'm definitely gonna finish this game. Like this is incredibly fun. It's a good little indie project.
Okay. So I have
Yeah.
two questions for you.
Okay.
How did you find out about this game? Were you just scrolling Steam one day and like saw that it was on sale, and then you were like, okay, you know what? I want to kind of find out more about this game. How
So
how did you come
here's
to
how I
find
buy
it?
here's how I buy a lot of my games. Retail's for suckers. No, I'm just,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Uh, no,
Okay, copy that.
if I can get a game for like a discounted price, even if it comes out like the Switch is great. The Switch has a lot of games that come out for it all the time. And if you catch them early on, like literally right now, they just announced No More Heroes 1 and 2, which was a big game for the Wii.
Mhm.
That's a big series. The third game was supposed to come out this year, has been delayed to 2021,
Okay.
but they released the first and the second game, the remasters from the Wii onto the Switch. They just
Okay.
shadow dropped it. And if you pick it up now, because it's already out now, it's kind of like not only a pre-purchase discount, but it's like a new listing discount, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know. There's a better word for it, but basically you can get the game because if you get it within like the first week or so, depending on whatever the like Nintendo says,
Mhm.
you can usually get like a 10 to 15% discount right off the bat. So that's one way I would
Okay.
recommend, you doing it. I think I got this game like a lot of other games, like I put them on my wish list,
Uh-huh.
and if I don't really want it right away, I'm sure I will later. And I'll, the nice thing about the eShop is that you can always go to your wish list and just scroll down,
Mhm.
and you'll see, oh, this game's on sale. And like a lot of games, some of the games I get, they're like 60, 70, 80% off.
Oh, nice.
Like
Nice.
Lego games on there, if you really like the Lego games a lot, I actually kind of like them. I have a soft spot for them. Um, you can get like one of the best Lego games right now that's just basically like it's Grand Theft Auto, just Legos. It's like open world
Oh, okay.
with Legos,
Uh-huh.
and that game always goes on sale for like $9.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Okay.
usually like a $20-$30 experience. Like
Oh,
that's what
nice.
you would have to pay if it's not on sale. They chop that price all the time. So
Oh, okay.
that's one way. I'm pretty sure I picked it up like that probably almost a year ago, maybe less. It was a while ago, and I don't know, I just saw it pop up on my Switch, and I was like, I'm gonna play this game.
Okay.
I just figured out checking out, and yeah.
So, okay, now that leads me to my second question. Is if is this one of the games that you feel like you can always go back to it? I know that like a lot of gamers like myself, we have those like old reliable games, right? So it's one of those games where if if one game doesn't work out, you can always go back to it. Is that one of these games?
Um, I would say yes and no. Yes, because it is so pick up and play. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you don't have to beat it all in one sitting. So if you can't beat a level, you put it down and then you walk away. And that's the thing about the Switch, especially if you play it on the Switch. It is a game that you could just pick it up and just kind of go, oh, where did I leave off? Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
I think it's a game that it is so short that you can pick it up and play over and over again just to, have it. It is like its own, like a really good book
Yeah.
that's just like short and sweet and you can always read it like once a year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
The
It's one
Great
of those
Gatsby.
games where it's just, it's a comfort food. You know where it's going to be, you know where to get it, you know how to play it, and it'll just, it'll feel good. It's a feel good game in that way. No, because it is kind of like a one and done. There's no
Okay.
sequel. Uh, Once you play and beat the game, it's kind of like, all right, that's done. What's next?
Okay.
It basically can be treated that way, but again, it's really up to what you get out of it, I guess. I think the story itself is, there's a lot of like Netflix movies out there that
Hmm.
are just like, not really like A list. It's like B list, almost C list.
Right.
but it's fun, just like getting together with a couple of people, having some drinks, watching the movie, and just go, oh, man, this is a ridiculous movie. But
Yeah,
and it's one and done, and you move on. You could consider it in that way, except the game is good. The game is
right.
stellar, and it is worth the experience.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Cool, man.
nice. Do you want to give us one of your games? What have you been
Yeah.
playing?
So actually, long story short, I just made the switch to PC.
Yeah.
I had been a console player for pretty much my entire life. The only time I had played PC games was when I was playing World of Warcraft or some
Hmm.
other Blizzard game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just recently made the switch, but one of the games, and I know that this game gets a lot of bad rap
Oh
because
God, here we go.
it's very frustrating. But one of the games that I was playing a lot of was Ark Survival Evolved,
Okay.
and it for me it was one of those games where I know that these two don't go hand in hand, but arc and stress relief, one powers the other
Yeah.
normally.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, uh, 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 my best friend and I, who is also a really big gamer, he kind of was the one that got me into Ark. And at first, I was kind of like, okay, well, dinosaurs? Like, really? It's like a Minecraft dinosaur game. I was like, yeah, it doesn't really pique my interest. And then I saw how in depth it was, and the fact that you had to trank down dinos to tame them, and then once when you tame them, you can fly them or ride them or whatever. And
So it's actually like a better version of Turok.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And you well, I would probably say Ark is a lot more stressful than Turok, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it in a sense, yeah, because those raptors that you see, those stegosauruses, those pterodons, all that stuff, you can all tame them. You can tame them all. And the best part is like it makes your life easier, like when you're going out and gathering, because it's very much like a builder based game, so you have to go out, collect resources. For those of you that don't know what Ark is, you go out, you collect stone and wood and thatch, and you make a hatchet. You know,
So it's
so
like a survival still game,
exactly.
essentially. Yeah.
And the
Okay.
best part too is I want to say since the game has been released, they have the island, the center, scorched earth, Ragnarok, Aberration, Genesis, Extinction, the Crystal Isles, and then I think they have one more. But the cool part is, with an exception of the earlier arcs, like Scorched Earth and all that stuff, every arc has unique dinos. So, like for example, if you go on to, um, let's say that you wanted to play Aberration. Now, Aberration's like background is that it is an arc that has too much radiation in it. So all the dinos that are in that arc are bioluminescent.
Okay.
So, that's just kind of like a visual aspect of the game.
Mhm.
But for Genesis, one of the new arcs that they released, they have something called like a blood stalker, which like what it allows you to do is it's almost kind of like an exoskeleton dino, and like what it does is it like sticks like needles into your character's back, and then
Nice.
you can like move with the dino. So
Whoa. That's
yeah,
kind of wild.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
it's very cool.
let me ask you. You mentioned these arcs earlier.
Hmm.
Are those like expansions essentially, or like new
Essentially,
content
yeah,
updates?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So um, each each arc, other than the island and the center, and I think the Crystal Isles. Each one of those arcs are like DLCs, downloadable content. So,
And it's all free, right?
not those specific arcs. So like
Okay.
your Scorched Earth, your Ragnarok, your Aberration, Genesis, and Extinction. All of those are paid DLCs.
Okay.
And they're not ridiculously expensive. I fortunately enough, when I got Extinction, which was the one that I'd been currently playing on, I think I got it for like $8.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
nothing. Yeah, that's good.
so
It's a good
yeah,
price.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that was on a sale.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
it was definitely like I put so much hours into it, and it's cool because at the end of the day, there's raid bosses that you can fight too.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but it's cool because like you look at your base and you see all the turrets on it, and the fact that you have like top notch, um, like foundations and stuff like that. It's like, okay, you know what? I worked my butt off for that, and that's something that I did. So, it's cool, and people are really creative. There's like mods that you can do to the game. It was actually pretty cool. A couple months ago, I found out that there was a mod for the PC version, um, where it was a Pokemon mod. So,
Nice.
you can like go around and try to fight like dinos, and then you can throw like a Pokeball at it and try to catch it. So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it's fun.
I was gonna ask you, if I don't know if this is the game I'm thinking of. I think it had like a really rough launch, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly. It was the game where like it was just really buggy, and I think a lot of like systems, like PCs, had trouble running it, and also like consoles had trouble running it. Is this the same game that I'm thinking of, or
Um,
am I thinking of something else? I wonder if this is. I think this is the game I'm thinking of. Is that? Is it? Do you remember experiencing that?
so the unfortunate part with the PlayStation 4 version of Arc is generally it's buggy. It's
Still to this day?
yeah, like when you
Wow.
go when you go to open up a cabinet or a vault, or if you're trying to access something, there's a few seconds of time where it kind of like stops and it's trying to process it, and then it processes it. So, the hard part is for a game like that where the environment is so huge.
Hmm.
Um, it's a lot to process, and it's a lot different when you're playing it on a PC.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if you're playing it on a PC, it's a lot easier because you can get like a better processor, a better graphics card, and stuff like that.
Right.
But in the base of what the PlayStation 4 has, um, it's slow.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think this was the game that when it came out, it was rough, and a
Oh,
lot of
you
people
know
passed
what?
out on it.
No, yes. So you're right, but it was the
Yeah.
the VR version of the game. That's what
Oh,
it
is that what it
was.
was?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. The
That
ver
that sounds pretty cool for VR too.
Oh yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
like it that was kind of like the big selling point of Arc, because a lot of people were like, the fact that like we can do this on VR, and like we have the I think it's called the Oculus for the PlayStation 4, but
Mhm.
you have the Oculus on and you have the controllers and stuff like that, and you can be sitting on a dyno and you can look and kind of like turn and kind of like
That's
see
cool.
your environment. Like
That's
it,
super
it
cool.
it was a huge selling point for it, but the VR version, when it started to come out, oh my gosh, it was crashing all the time. So yeah, I think you're right, but for the VR version of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've yet to get into like any sort of VR. I've played a little bit at like a friend's house,
Hmm.
and I was actually blown away by like how much VR has come along.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I want to get into it. It's a little pricey
Oh
still,
yeah.
but I think it's getting there. It's getting to the point where I think we're going to start seeing a lot of just strictly VR games, in the future. Like we may see the next consoles, they just straight up say, "Hey, Everything's VR now. Like,
Yeah.
I think some people will still be like, or a lot of people, I should say, they'll want to just pick up a controller, look at a screen, and shoot some people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
still want to do that, but I think there will be an argument made at some point in maybe the next 10 to 20 years where maybe your next Call of Duty is just straight up, you put on a headset and you just go,
Yeah.
and that's the only Call of Duty. There's a strong possibility for that in the future. But yeah, that's pretty
Nice.
cool, man. That's a
Yeah.
cool game.
Yeah, it was fun.
Should we go into the next
Yeah.
one?
Yeah. What
Yep.
what is your what's the second game for you?
So it's hard to narrow it down to just two, but
yeah.
I'll go ahead and pick this one because I think it's one that's it's a pretty interesting game, and it's hitting a lot of nostalgia vibes, and that's Need for Speed Heat. I'm trying not to get
Okay.
glare on there for you, and I do have it on
yeah.
the Xbox. I got this game super cheap on Amazon for like $16.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Nice. Can't beat
so
that
I
deal.
was like, okay, I'll bite,
Yeah.
And a little history for me with Need for Speed. I used to love this series. Okay,
Uh-huh.
we're talking Need for Speed Underground. The first one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I put so many freaking crazy hours into that game on the
Yeah.
original Xbox. Hold on, hang on, hold on. I thought I came prepared and I wasn't. These are my original copies right here.
Oh, dang.
This guy right here,
Nice. Uh-huh.
this guy right here. I mean, if the disc is still usable, I'll be shocked. I take good care of my games regardless, but
Uh-huh.
I mean that thing just it was in my tray for months upon months at a time. It was like
Nice.
the only game I played. I loved the soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
I loved the way you could customize your cars. I loved all the different aspects that were present in that game.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was the first Need for Speed at the time that was so like revolutionary, because up until that point we had a lot of licensed cars and they were just drive it, this is the car.
Yeah.
You couldn't really mess with the car, you couldn't really design the way you wanted. But again, this game came out, this one 2003.
Wow.
So that was around the time when Fast and the Furious movies were just super big.
Oh, yeah.
And they cashed in hard.
Yeah.
Like they didn't cash in, but this is like, look, this is EA, okay?
Yeah.
This is an EA game. You probably can't even see it. It's not even.
Oh, there you go.
EA.
There you go.
Okay, these are EA games. This is back when the logo would come up. EA games.
Oh, yeah.
Challenge everything. That was that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is when they actually like put effort. Their studios did a really, really good job, and forever treasure this game. Now
Yeah.
I bring up this game because the sequel. Everybody thinks this is the game right here. This is the main game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I liked this game. There was something about it. It didn't, like, when you got up to like 150, 160 miles per hour, it just didn't feel like
Right.
you were doing the 100, 150.
Right.
The first game you did, they had a really good sense of speed. And I think it's kind of like how Call of Duty has two studios.
Mm-hmm.
They had like the Infinity Ward that would make Call of Duty, and then they had Treyarch
Mm-hmm.
that would make Call of Duty. You know how they kind of felt differently?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the same thing happened here. I don't know who was developing the first Underground and the second. It just feels like two different teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just feel that, like, oh, I'm doing 160, and like in Underground 2, you're kind of like, I guess. I mean, the number says it, but like on my speedo. But beyond that, the first Underground, you could feel the speed, and in the first Most Wanted,
Mm-hmm.
that first game, you could feel the speed in that too.
Oh, okay.
And that's another one that I cherish. So that first Underground and the Most Wanted game, you could definitely, those are up there for me.
Okay.
Now I bring up those two games because this game feels like those games.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is a big deal. The Need for Speed series didn't go away. It's been around forever.
Right.
And it just kind of slowly, do you know how like some people would see a Need for Speed game and they were just like, oh, it's Need for Speed, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
No one got
Yeah.
excited for him anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this game, when it was announced, everybody was like, "Oh, it's Need for Speed." But then people started doing gameplay and started looking at deep dives, and they were like, "Okay, okay, there's actually something here." And I'm going to tell you right now, it definitely feels like if Underground was made today, how it would look.
Okay.
If Most Wanted were made today, because they did remake it back in like 2010
Uh-huh.
or 16. I don't know. They remade Most Wanted with the same title and everything, but people know it as like Most Wanted 2016 or whatever year it came out. I don't know. I hate when companies do that. So they remade it, and it was okay. People didn't really go like, "Oh, the best game ever." It was released and people played it, whatever. Um, Again, it was in that era where people were just not excited for Need for Speed.
Right.
So when they see another game come out, they're like, "Oh, oh, great, another Need for Speed, whatever." This one actually was reviewing well,
Okay.
and that's the reason why it was on my radar, because I was like, "Well, I've been in the mood for a Need for Speed game, like a good old fashioned, just give me some fast cars. I want to be able to customize them. I want to be able to do whatever I want to them. I want to drive in the streets. I want to go race some people." Yeah, and then you know what? As I was playing this game, the graphics are amazing. First of all, I play
Okay.
on the Xbox One X, and it looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good. Excuse me. It is 30 frames per second.
Okay.
On a PC like yours, you probably can get 60 plus easily.
Okay.
And it does look smoother and, like a racing game on there.
Uh-huh.
I think for the arcadey nature that the game still goes after, that's why people play Need for Speed, because of the arcade physics and stuff. It still works better to have it as 30 frames per second.
Okay.
So, but yeah, like basically the whole Miami lifestyle is in there. The way the game opens is super well done, I think, and just the customization of like the cars, it's pretty in depth.
Okay.
It's pretty insane how much that you can actually do, right down to the body kits, and you can do like a lot of cool stuff with the cars, like right off the bat. Like
Oh,
back in
nice.
the day, you used to have to like work up to like, "Oh, I can finally put suspension on the car. Oh my god!" Like right off the bat, you can pretty much, like, it depends. Like if you just want to do a bunch of day races, because there's like a day and night.
Uh-huh.
The day is
Oh,
where
I
you
didn't
make
know that.
all your money,
Okay.
and then the night is where you make all your rep.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. I don't
Yeah.
really know a whole lot about the Need for Speed games. The only racing games that I really played were the Forza games.
Okay.
But
That's that's similar to like Gran Turismo. Those two are
oh,
more
okay.
like the Need for Speed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's more
So,
simulation based.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
now let me ask you this. As far as like one of the questions that I want to ask you, um, do do you like that in the game as far as the customization goes? Do you like that early feel that you can, customize right off the bat when you get a car, or do you like it kind of like the old school way where you kind of had to build up to it and then finally be able to put stuff in your car?
I think I like them both in their own way.
Okay.
I like So here's the thing about EA, right? Nowadays they're all about like paywalls
Yeah.
and, a lot of stupid like microtransactions.
Oh
The
yeah.
nice thing about this game, there's only one,
Okay.
and it's called Keys to the City.
Okay.
And
Do tell.
it's not obtrusive whatsoever. It never gets into the menus, it never gets in your way. It's literally, you have to back out of the game to the main menu, and then it goes store. And you can buy cars with real money. You can.
Okay.
And people get really upset when they see that. And I'm like, you know what? You don't have to buy it. The
Right.
fact that it's in there, it sucks. I understand it does. But you know what? It would bother me more if I went to the in-game dealership and I saw that car there with a real price tag.
So
That would
now,
bother me more.
right. Right.
But going back to your question,
Uh-huh.
I do like the fact that there are basically these, like, you can't upgrade everything right off the bat right away
Mhm.
because you need money.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's like real world, right? Like
Right.
if I wanted to go take my car and I wanted to go put a sick body kit on it and some rims and whatever nitrous, I could do it. I could do it right now.
Right.
I call up auto shops, I call up whatever. What do they need? Money.
Money.
If I don't
Yeah.
got the money, I can't get it. So this incentivization for you to go out and go race for money to buy that upgrade, that just makes sense. There is a leveling system in there, so it does sort of like time gate you.
Okay.
However, the cool thing is like the milestones to reach those are pretty like quick.
Okay.
You basically get to unlock certain specific upgrades for your car, just leveling up through the game by racing.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, that's
as you're
pretty cool.
racing and getting money, you're leveling up.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
doesn't matter if you're racing daytime or not, you're still getting level. So you're basically every time you level up, it's like, hey, you can now upgrade to this, and then you can go buy some stuff with money. And if you don't have the money, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead and go race. Go get some money. The upgrade's waiting for you whenever you get the money. So it's basically incentivizing you to play the game to earn money. That is a great loop for a game to have. If you don't have that in your game, why are people going to pick up and play it?
Right. A progression system.
Yeah, it's a progression system.
Yeah.
So, but I do like that it's like a daytime. There's a reason to race in the day, and there's a reason to race at night. And it's always day to night. It's not just night to day. When you go
Okay.
from day to night, nothing happens necessarily for your character. It's when you go to night, you race at night, you get rep, and then more rep unlocks some more like missions, more
Oh,
story-based
beautiful.
races.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you next is
Yeah,
like,
that's
what
the
does
point of
that
rep.
rep do? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
That's
then
cool.
the thing about the game is if you notice, it says heat. Your heat level goes up after each race, whether you win or not. So let's say you get first place, cool, you get heat for that. You get second, you still get heat. And the cool thing is the cops are dynamic. So every race you do at night, you may never see a cop. Or
wow.
every single race you do, they may actually get into the map. The map itself is all open to you. The race
that's
will have
cool.
very specific parameters, kind of like GTA. When you do races in
Right.
GTA,
Yeah.
you can go off and go wherever you hell you want to in the race. You still got to go through the checkpoints that are specifically given. Same thing happens here. So if a cop is like, up in the northern portion of the map and they patrol down into your race halfway through and they find you, that's a dynamic event.
Right.
And that's super cool. And that leads me to the next point that I want to bring up really quick is when you actually race with other people online,
Mm-hmm.
they show up in your world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you're driving along, you're driving around, and then all of a sudden you see this sick ride go by and you're like, that was cool. Oh, that was another player. And
Oh,
they'll
that's
sometimes
cool.
spin around and they'll come up to you and they'll honk, they'll say hi or whatever. And it just feels real. It just feels like, man, this is what it would be like to have like a souped up car with my buddies and stuff like in the real world, without the crazy amount of like cop heat and expense on the road.
Right.
It
Right.
feels immersive. I think that's the best way to put the game is that it feels immersive yet arcadey enough to where it's fun.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, definitely check it out. I think it's going to go on sale big time for Black Friday.
Okay.
I was pleasantly surprised, and I've been following a few other people, and they've been playing the game, and they're like, "This is actually like reminding me a lot of like old school, like Most Wanted and Underground," and that's exactly how I would describe it. It's just, it's solid. It was a pleasant surprise.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome, man. That's cool. Very cool.
All right, man. You want to do us
Yeah. So,
the last one?
as well as a lot like you, the last game that I want to talk about today is another sentimental game. I Oh man. I think this was the first ever computer game that I played, like Little Tyler.
Okay.
And it is a Blizzard game. It's called Warcraft 3. It is an old school game. Luckily, it just got remastered. A lot.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Do you like the remastered?
So I do, and I'll kind of get into
Okay.
why I like the remastered version.
Go on.
So,
Sorry.
oh no, it's all good. That's kind of why we're doing this, get the whys for those games, right? So,
Yeah.
Warcraft 3, I looked up. It was released in 2002.
Long time ago.
A very long time ago. Like
Actually,
those.
one year before this guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2003.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it was like I played it on on my old Windows 98 computer where when I would start playing, I'd have to make sure that my mom and dad wouldn't use the phone, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah. You had to have like a Pentium 3 processor,
oh yeah.
like
Yep.
500, or was it Pentium 2? I know I barely made the requirements on my computer at the
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah, and I
Yeah,
think everybody everybody
yeah,
did, you know. Um but the thing was is and I'll kind of explain first how I got to play the game and like how I found out about it, and then I'll kind of like talk a little bit about the remastered version. But
okay,
um, an old neighbor of mine, and big shout out to him. He's a Filipino guy. He lived right up the street from me. His name is Galen Wampler, and I'm gonna try to um, you know, like add him or mention him.
yeah.
But he was the main reason why I kind of got into gaming in the first place. I remember him and his family had come over for like a barbecue, and he left early, and so I didn't understand why he left early. So I went up to his house and I knocked on the door and I was like, "Hey man, you know, like is everything okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just got this game called Warcraft 3." And I was like, okay, all right, well that's cool. And he was like, do you want to check it out, like in the house? I was like, sure, why not? When I went up to the computer and when I saw what he was doing and like him building bases and getting units, I was like, I was standing there and I was like, I've never seen
Yeah,
this before.
yeah.
So, you know, I of course I bought the game and then I started playing and um, you know, like every day I'd see him at school and we'd talk and we'd think of strategies and all that stuff with what we were going to do, you know, to play in the game. And it was just a lot of fun. And then a couple years later, I played the campaign, and the campaign just blew my mind.
So you jumped straight into multiplayer first.
I didn't even play the
Wow.
campaign.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. That should tell you how good the gameplay is,
yeah,
for those that haven't played it, the two people in the world that haven't played that game.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
good.
it was one of those things where like when I first started playing it, I played it for you know like most people, I played it with friends,
Mhm.
which is you know very common in today's gaming world now is that multiplayer aspect.
Oh yeah.
But I started playing the campaign and I remember my first time going through the campaign and I was just blown away like with the characters that you get introduced to like Thrall, you know, the war chief of the horde, and
Mhm.
then you get introduced to Arthas right off the bat as a human, and then his whole transcendence to the dark side, where he becomes the Lich King and all that stuff, and then you start learning more about that, and then what he did to Sylvanas, you know, without spoiling anything for those of you that for whatever reason have never played World of Warcraft or Warcraft 3.
Mhm.
Um, you know, that story arc to me was amazing. Like it was one of those like
Yeah.
very it was one of my very first story arcs where I was like, "Holy crap, what did I just witness?" You know?
It's still
So,
installed on my computer to this day.
oh yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
ready to go.
yeah, it's an unreal game. But
Yeah.
the thing is I know that when the Warcraft 3 remastered game when it when Blizzard released it, it got a lot of bad rep, you know, and I I think I can understand a lot of people's frustration, you know, because um, the whole big part about Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne, the expansion of it, the battle net was huge because you could go on, you could play a bunch of these mini games and you know waste hours and hours and hours just playing those mini games,
Yep.
you know, and
Dota was born from that, right?
yeah, Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Dota was born
the
from that.
MOBA, the
Yep,
modern MOBA.
yep. So, you know, when I first got it, when I first got the remastered series, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into a multiplayer game, and I'm gonna see. Or it was just a single player game. It was a single player 1v1, and I was like, I'm just gonna put my game. I'm gonna put my faction on random. So I was either gonna be the humans, the orcs, the night elves, or the undead. And when I first started the game, when I went in, I saw the aesthetics and they're night and day. I
Yeah.
mean, like when you zoom in on your controller to look at like a grunt or a footman or even the heroes, you look at that and you're like, holy crap, this is better than StarCraft.
Oh, okay, so it is better.
Oh yeah, like night and
Cool.
day. The graphics are. The
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
graphics are night and
I
day.
I do remember that. Yeah, that's right. People were saying the graphics were actually much, much better.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I also heard, and you can clarify this for me. I also heard they were better, but they were worse.
Yeah, no,
In
I
some
don't think
way,
so.
I thought I heard that like um some of the models were just like off by something, like they redesigned the models, just didn't have the feel of the original character. I don't know. I heard stuff. Again, I didn't I played the beta or the alpha.
Uh-huh.
Did you play that by chance?
No, 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 no.
No.
I
That
didn't.
that was just basically like the multiplayer. They were just
Okay.
doing like basically the test for the multiplayer.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, it's Warcraft. I wasn't blown away. You know, that
Okay.
was what worried me at first, because that was obviously way before the game came out. And I was
Right.
kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, it's Warcraft 3. It's solid gameplay. But the gameplay was off a little bit, you know, but it was an alpha. And I was kind of like, okay, it's alpha. It's not
Right.
done. It's just here to test servers and, you know, whatever, work out some bugs. So
Right.
I just figured, you know, there's no way they're going to release a bad game. Like, they can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And,
mean
you
the thing is like when you scroll in on the character models, they're gorgeous. You know, I mean, for example, if you're playing undead, and you summon a Death Knight, you know that's essentially Arthas's character.
know,
The horse that he's on is amazing, and
nice.
even the Death Knight that's mounted on top of the horse is beautiful. You know,
So
it blew me away. But the thing is that little box that you see when you target or when you select a
the
group of
portrait.
exactly the portrait,
Uh-huh.
some of those portraits are off. Um,
Mm,
they seem, it's the word I'm looking for. They seem too texture heavy. You know, like
yeah.
the ghoul and all that stuff, one of the
Hmm.
basic units that you have. His mouth is like kind of too big, but he's an undead, you know?
Yeah. I think
So,
there's something about the original game, and like I said, I have the originals still on my
oh
computer.
yeah.
I think there's something about them. They have this style. It's just that movie that, like, yeah, it's not great. It's the effects are kind of, you know, silly these days,
Uh-huh.
but it's a good movie. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, you know it. It's, you know, is it nostalgia? I don't know, but Warcraft 3 I think is now in that frame of like, yeah, it's not, you know, 1920 by 1080
Yeah.
and widescreen. I know, but look at it.
Yeah.
It's just such a good game that came out so long ago and still tests the test of time. I think I wanted to ask you about this because I think I remember hearing about it. It's
Oh yeah.
bringing back to me a lot of these things. Um, the original game, they shut down the BattleNet servers, right?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know if
look
they
into
did.
that.
Okay.
That's one thing I was remember hearing. That's what people got upset. That's why
Oh,
people got
okay.
really upset, is because the original game still had a huge multiplayer base.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, I'm sure you played. I'm
Oh
sure you
yeah.
played a ton of
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Um I don't know if you played recently. Check it out. I think they're done. I think those servers are closed, and I think what they wanted people to do is buy Reforged, the remaster,
Hmm.
and play on that BattleNet.
Yeah.
which I that's the problem I have. It's like, Blizzard is a company that does really good things and really bad things.
Oh yeah.
It's EA Activision, okay? We always have to remember that. And the problem is with them is that, hey, we're remaking Warcraft 3. And we're all like, oh my God, heck yeah. StarCraft 2 was amazing.
Yeah.
StarCraft 1, the remaster for StarCraft 1 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They killed it. They nailed that. How did they blow this? I don't understand how they blew this with the launch. And that's one thing I want to talk to you about. But yeah, so basically, the idea that, this game is basically they didn't want people to go, here's an option. If
Right.
you want to play original Warcraft 3, that's still here. I think you could still buy it on their launcher.
Mhm.
I think it's still on there. I may be wrong.
The
Someone in the
remastered one?
comments below, they can probably tell us. Like not the remaster, the original.
Oh, okay.
Like Reign of Chaos, like that stuff. I don't know if that's still up for on the BattleNet launcher, because you can buy like the old stuff, like Diablo 2 and stuff, Diablo 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy those on the launcher. They're kind of hidden, but they're there.
Okay.
So you can still, like, it would have been cool if they would said, look, if you like the old game, we get it. We're not touching it. It's still here. You can go play it. However, if you want to play the new version of it, here's the Reforged. Here's new servers. We're going to update this with, maybe a new campaign.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. And I think if they had just stuck to that and done that, and, if it needed more time, delay it.
Yeah.
They didn't need to release the game in the state that it was.
Right.
And that's the problem. The first impression was bad. People immediately got turned off and they said, bye, done.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I wanted to ask you is, did you encounter that stuff? Did you feel like you were robbed when you played the game and you were like, well, the multiplayer is all screwed up. The campaigns, like, it's not buggy. It's buggy. It needs patching. Did you encounter any of that?
So this is one of the things that all kind of always tell like gamers, is there's always a certain price that you're gonna pay for nostalgia.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the thing for me was I knew going into purchasing the game, because it's $29.99 for the remastered series, or the remastered version of Warcraft 3. And for me, it was one of those things where, like, that was my childhood. I played that game when I was 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
So, like,
Same. Yeah.
the hard part was is I went back and I played the campaign, and the campaign was beautiful. They added like a few or they changed like a few different maps, and they added like a few extra storyline campaigns, but it was a lot of fun. And I remember going through this campaign. I'm like playing through this campaign, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this was my childhood, So I did try to play a little bit of the BattleNet stuff. I wasn't super impressed with the with the BattleNet aspect of the remastered series.
Yeah.
But when you hop on and you have a few friends that you can play with, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like you and three other buddies, and it's a 2v2 or a free for all, and you guys are like scrambling to try to get units and all that stuff. Oh man, it's so much fun.
If they nail that part and the multiplayer is still good, like I said, I like you was just basically like kind of, I felt almost conned. It's like,
Right.
You preyed on my nostalgia. You got my $30. After that, like, it's one of those games where, like, it's not like an Overwatch,
Yeah.
where we have constant content. We have content. We have content. We have content. Here's content. Here's some more content. Here's content. Here's some loot boxes. That's a way different game, right?
Right.
But then you look at, like, Warcraft 3. It's a very standalone game. They release it, boom, here it is, done. What can
Yeah.
they do to it? What can they add to it? And I think I see it on my launcher, like new stuff added or new developer update or whatever. And
Right.
I think they're trying to make it a the game that we wanted from the get-go.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the Destiny thing where Destiny came out and a lot of people were like, bleh, I don't like this game.
Yeah.
Now it's like one of the most played games, one of the most streamed games ever. And that's a testament to a developer going, we're gonna make the game you want. We're gonna give you what you expected of us because that's what we owe to you.
Right.
A developer can do that and really profit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Blizzard this was one of the first games in history for Blizzard where they were like, okay, we screwed up. We're sorry. We're going to fix it.
Yeah.
We have to.
With an exception. If you ever played the World of Warcraft series.
Yeah.
World
of Warcraft is a whole different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
I played it a lot myself. I was a vanilla player.
Yep, me too.
I played through BC. I was in one of the top rating guilds for BC and for Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, like Cataclysm, just we can talk about that another time.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's
I know
another
exactly
video.
what you're talking about. Yeah, I definitely don't play that game anymore, just because I don't have the time to commit. I don't,
I know.
And the grind for that game is just unreal.
Oh,
you know, but a lot of people have said that Blizzard still owes us a good World of Warcraft expansion.
Right.
And I think that's very opinionated and very not everyone believes that.
Right.
A lot of people have said, oh, I liked Mists of Pandaria. Oh, I liked what's the one they just had?
So they had Legion, and then
I actually played during Legion. I actually was like, I liked Legion.
Yeah, Legion was good. Legion was a good game.
So like, to me, I got what I wanted.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about like what Blizzard tries to do. They try to do so many genres and you try to get so many different games to like, hit. And I think for the most part, they have done great success.
Oh, yeah.
They have a great team-based shooter.
Yeah.
Overwatch. They have a great RTS line. They have two of them.
Yeah.
They have Warcraft and they have StarCraft.
Yeah.
Those are still huge games. Like StarCraft 2 is still being played competitively to this day.
Oh,
right?
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you got they have an MMO, World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Right. They have an RPG like game, Diablo.
Yep.
Right. That's still big. Diablo 3 maybe not as big as the other ones, but Diablo 4.
Exactly. Yeah.
That game's coming. That game looks sick as hell, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we got to talk about Diablo 4 at some point, by the way. And then what else do they have? Obviously they got Call of Duty stuff now. So like,
they also partnered with Bungie. So if you go on their browser, if you go on the battle.net browser, you can download Destiny 2 through Blizzard.
Well, for a while it was with Blizzard. Destiny 2. Remember you had to have the Battle.net launcher to actually load up Destiny 2?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, and then they broke away and now they're their own thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that was attributed to Activision also owning Blizzard. So when Activision and Bungie had kind of come together and made Destiny, Activision was probably like, okay, you know what, Bungie, this is what we're gonna do for our PC gamers for this update. And I think they did it for Forsaken. I think so.
Probably.
Or maybe it was Destiny 2, like the first relaunch. Anyway, Activision told Blizzard like, hey, Activision told Bungie, we're going to put this on the Blizzard.net homepage.
Yeah. But yeah, so literally like you look at this company, they have so many stellar series, and it's kind of wild that they took a series that they're really good at and it's their IP and they just kind of gave us a lackluster, remaster.
Yeah.
That was the problem I think a lot of people had. And there's a good possibility that they're still trying to get those people to go, look, we're sorry, here's the game. And you seem to be enjoying it and that's great. But I think a lot of people are still going to need a little more convincing. But people in the comments, let us know if we should check
Oh
this
yeah.
game, or if I should check this game out again. You know, obviously Tyler speaks really highly of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, let us know, because I haven't, and I'm kind of curious now. I kind of want to see if it's worth getting back into. But all right, I think that's it, right? We covered 4 games each, or
Yeah.
2 games each so far. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, man. Thanks for coming along,
Oh
and
yeah.
we're gonna try and make this like a weekly thing.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Okay.
we can. I'm also coming out with a few videos that are gonna be on the channel too.
Yeah.
I in the works. Probably sometime next week. I'll have a Destiny video that's gonna come out, and then Destiny Beyond Light video that's gonna come out, and then I'm also working on a Baldur's Gate video.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely stay tuned for that.
A little thing about Tyler, he's really into D&D, so he's gonna talk about Baldur's Gate. You're gonna try and convince me to check this game out, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what you're gonna do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check out that video, guys. That's coming up soonish. We're not too sure
Yeah.
yet. Maybe next couple of weeks or so. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
This is kind of the debut for Tyler here for GoalieDude. Your links gonna be in the description, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. My
you're gonna be able to
Facebook.
find him.
Yeah, my Facebook, my Instagram. Just as a note, guys, when you guys do watch this video, watch it later or whatnot, I do try to stream on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Most of the time, it's kind of just like nostalgia games. But if you guys want to like play a game with me or something like that while I'm streaming, let me know. If you guys want to play some like Among Us or something, or a different other game, let me know. Because I'm always down to game and play with friends. And once when games kind of start regularly coming out, I am gonna stream on release day. So for Destiny's Beyond Light video, that releases on November 10th, and I'm gonna end up streaming probably most of the day for that game. So and
Nice.
with games in the future too that we do a review on. So
we might have some of those streams up on the channel potentially.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work on that for you guys too, and yeah, go check him out, give him a follow, all that good stuff. He's a good guy. He might actually be editing some of the videos that come out on the channel, so be on the lookout for that. And I want to talk to you guys really quick. I'm going to do a channel update video here pretty soon, talking a lot about what's going on. There's been a little bit of a hiatus. I'm going to go into that. I'm just going to be honest, and I may just roll out of bed, turn the camera on, and just go. So you get to see the bed head. We'll see. But yeah, I just want to talk about the channel. There's some good stuff that's happened. There's some little awkward stuff and rough stuff, but we're just going to put it on the table, and I'm going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about where we're going to go from here. But thanks again so much for watching, guys. It's been an honor. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks, guys.